जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुनतीरावनचारी। यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, निताई गौर सुंदर की। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रहलाद नृसिंहदेव भगवान की, श्री गौर सुंदर की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Studying from Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, entitled as Dhruva Maharaja Goes Back to Godhead, text number 48, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. 49, text number 49 and 50. पौर्णमास्यां शनिवाल्यां द्वादश्यं श्रवणे अथवा दीनक्षये व्यतिपाते संक्रमे अक्रदीने अपि वा श्रावये च श्रद्धाधानां तीर्थपादपदाश्रय नेक्षं स तत्रात्मनात्मानं सन्तुष्ट इति सिद्धयति। पौर्णमास्यां सिनिवाल्यां पौर्ण्यमास्यां सिनिवाल्यां द्वादश्यां श्रवणे अथवा द्वादश्यां श्रवणे अथवा दिनक्षये व्यतिपाते संक्रमे अक्रदीने अपि वा संक्रमे अर्कदीने अपि वा श्रावयेश श्रद्धाधानानां तीर्थपादपदाश्रयः नेक्षंस्तत्र मनात्मानं सन्तुष्ट इति सिद्धयति। पौर्णमास्यां सिनिवाल्यां द्वादश्यां श्रवणे अथवा दिनक्षये व्यतिपाते संक्रमे अर्कदीने अपि वा सावेश श्रद्धानानां तीर्थपादपदाश्रयः नेक्षंस्तत्रात्मनात्मानं सन्तुष्ट इति सिद्धयति। पौर्णमास्यां सिनिवाल्यां द्वादश्यां श्रवणे अथवा दिनक्षये व्यतिपाते संक्रमे अर्कदीने अपि वा सावेश श्रद्धानानां तीर्थपादपदाश्रयः नेचस्तत्ततात्मनात्मानं सन्तुष्ट इति सिद्ध्यति। पौर्णमास्यां सिनिवाल्यां द्वादश्यां श्रवणे अथवा दिनक्षये व्यतिपाते संक्रमे अर्कदीने अपि वा सावेक्ष श्रद्धानानां तीर्थपादपदाश्रयः नेचस्तत्ततात्मनात्मानं सन्तुष्ट इति सिद्धयति। पौर्णमास्यां सिनिवाल्यां द्वादश्यां श्रवणे अथवा दिनक्षये व्यतिपाते संक्रमे अर्कदिने अपि वा रावेच सद्धानानां तीर्थपादपदाश्रयः नेक्षंस्तत्रात्मनात्मानं सन्तुष्ट इति सिद्धयति। Word for word meaning Paurnamasyam, on the full moon, Sinivalyam, on the dark moon, Dvadasyam, on the day after Ekadasi, Shravane, during the Shravana star's appearance, Athava, or Dinakchaye, at the end of the Tithi, Vyati Pate, a particular day of the name, Sankrame, at the end of the month, Arkadine, on Sunday, Api, also, Va, or Sravayet, one should recite Shraddhananam to a receptive audience, Tirtha Pada of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Pad Ashraya, taken shelter of the lotus feet, Na Ikchan, without desiring remuneration, Tatra, there, Atmana, by the self, Atmanam, the mind, Santushta, pacified, Iti, thus, Siddhyati, becomes perfect. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: person who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord should recite this narration of Dhruva Maharaj without taking remuneration. Specifically, recitation is recommended on the full moon or dark moon day, on the day after Ekadasi, on the appearance of Shravana star, at the end of a particular tithi, or the occasion of Vyati Pata, at the end of month or on Sunday. Such recitation should of course be performed before a favorable audience. When recitation is performed this way, without professional motive, the reciter and audience becomes perfect. Persons who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord should recite this narration of Dhruva Maharaja without taking remuneration. Specifically, recitation is recommended on the full moon or dark moon day, on the day after Ekadasi, on the appearance of Shravana star, at the end of particular tithi or the occasion of Vyatipata, at the end of month or on Sunday. Such recitation should be of course be performed before a favorable audience. When recitation is performed in this way without professional motive, the reciter and audience becomes perfect. Purport: professional reciters may ask money to extinguish the blazing fire within their bellies, but they cannot make any spiritual improvement or become perfect. It is therefore strictly forbidden to recite Srimad Bhagavatam as a profession to earn a livelihood. Only one who is completely surrendered at the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, depending fully upon Him for personal maintenance or even for maintenance of his family, can attain perfection by recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narrations of the pastimes of Lord and His devotees. The process can be summarized as follows. The audience must be faithfully receptive to the Bhagavat message, and the reciter should completely depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavata recitation must not be a business. If done in the right way, not only does the reciter achieve perfect satisfaction, but the Lord also is very satisfied with the reciter and the audience, and thus both are liberated from material bondage simply by the process of hearing. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langyayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Iswaram. So this conversation is happening between Maitreya Muni and Vidura Maharaj. So Maitreya Muni has explained the whole conversation of Dhruva Maharaj, which is explained by Narada Muni. Now at the end, he is describing, is telling about the Phalistuti. What is the result of hearing such narrations? And who gets what kind of results? So when we see that we take the same seed and we put into different kind of soils, the different results will come. So we see that if the same recitation is taking, but the audience, according to audience, people will have different results. And also it is described on a this particular timing, and we are hearing, then uh, at this particular time we will get the best of results. Actually, the Lord's pastimes, his devotees' pastimes, one no need to see any timing. All the timing is good. But here, uh, Maitreya Muni is describing that this particular timings, when we are hearing, we will get the best results. Just he is encouraging. It's like all the timing is good, but we see that morning is the best time for practicing spiritual life. Brahma Muhurtam is the best time. So similarly, he's telling that on these timings, one should recite this Srimad Bhagavatam. So it doesn't mean that on other timings we should not recite. Simply means that these are all very special timings, and we should not simply waste this. Like morning Brahma Muhurtam, uh, we all utilize to do our japa. We come in front of the deities, greet the deities. Somehow or other, some spiritual activities we do. We understand this is the best of best time, and we should not simply waste. So most important activity is to cultivate spiritual knowledge, to cultivate our bhakti, and we should use this Brahma Muhurtam. So similarly, on all these timings, uh, one should properly use by remembering the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaja. So this is the understanding of this, that why there are so many timings are mentioned. It's all said that what are these auspicious time? Says that full moon day, dark moon day after Ekadasi, appearance of Shravana star, end of particular tithi, occasion of Vyatipata, end of the month or the Sunday. Such recitations should be, of course, be performed before a favorable audience. So further, Maitreya Muni saying should be performed before the favorable audience. So both are important. Audience and speaker both is important. Why one should recite this in front of favorable audience? Uh, because if audience is not favorable, uh, he may not get the benefit of this. Like we sow the seed on the barren ground, no cultivation will come. So if in front of the person who doesn't have faith, who is faithless, and if he narrate this, so he will just simply take this as a some fairy tale. He will not have any, he will not be able to appreciate this. It may not help him also in that way. Like we chant the holy name, it is said that's offense to chant the holy name of the Lord in front of the non-believers, to or to preach about the glories of the holy name. Exactly, it is to preach the glories of the holy name in front of, to the non-believers. So we can the holy name of the Lord must be chanted everywhere. When the holy name of the Lord is going through, the ears of anybody purifies them. But what happens when we glorify the holy name to a person who is atheist, who doesn't believe in such glories? So he becomes envious, and he commits offenses, which becomes uh, obstacles or hindrance for his advancement in Krishna consciousness. We are supposed to help him, but instead of giving him help, it becomes like a hindrance to his spiritual life, because he is not accepting the glories of the holy name, which is inconceivable. He's not able to accept, and he's just thinking it's some sort of imagination. So similarly, when we are speaking in front of audience who is atheist, who doesn't understand the omnipotency of the Lord, his inconceivable potency of the Lord, then he will just simply take this as some sort of fairy tale, and he will not accept, and he will be thinking otherwise. They said that it should be performed, it should be recited in front of favorable audience. And it is very natural also, when we see that some person is interested, we like to talk more about it. The person is not interested, why we should talk? We should waste our time. And then further it is mentioned, when recitation is performed this way, without professional motive, the reciter and audience becomes perfect. So professional mode, without, it should be done without professional motives. Srimad Bhagavatam or service of the Lord is not be done with the professional motive, no business motive. To maintain one's livelihood, one should not take the business of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. There are many other things to do. Why one should take this business of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam and make money? There is a famous quote regarding this of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says that the sweeper on the street, roadside, there is a sweeper. Now we see the corporation sweeper, and there's so many people sweeping the road. They are far better than professional reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam. At least while they are cleaning the road, road is getting cleaned. Correct or not? But when this Srimad Bhagavatam reciter of Srimad, professional reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are reciting. Actually, that's also cleaning. No? Bhagavatam cleans our heart, unwanted things, unwanted desires inside the heart. It's cleansed. So he is also doing that cleaning, but there is no use. The thing will happen because simply because he is not rightly tuned. His attitude is to make profit from the Srimad Bhagavatam, giving Srimad Bhagavatam, make money, earning livelihood from reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So such recitations will have no effect on the audience. Their heart will be remain like that. So therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying that the sweeper in the street is much better than such professional reciters of Srimad Bhagavatam. At least they are cleaning something. Sri Jagannath Baldev Swadha Maharani ki jai, Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai, Patit Pavanshla Prabhupada ki jai. So actually, we see Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says many times that I am going to speak about the most confidential knowledge to you. Param Guhyam. So this is the Param Guhyam knowledge, the transcendental dealings of the Lord, and especially with his devotees. It's all very private subject matters. And definitely No one will like to discuss their such a close confidential things to wrong, into wrong person, or just making out of some livelihood, for all these purposes. No would like to disclose such things. Similarly, the Lord, he's not actually, he's not at all pleased when with such motive we take this recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord doesn't appreciate such things. Just to make money, one is reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. He doesn't appreciate such things. So Lord is sitting inside heart as Paramatma. He's telling that Sarvasya chaham hidi sannivishto matta smiti jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta kit vedavid evacham. So Lord sitting inside the heart and is facilitating all knowledge for memories, forgetfulness. All these things are facilitated by the Lord. And the Lord is not at all pleased when such professional motive is reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So that understanding actually is not, it doesn't go across. Because the Lord is inside the heart, He is not very satisfied with this. Then how this transaction, the spiritual understanding will pass from one person to another person. But the same Lord only He is facilitating. So it stays there only, doesn't grow. So on the other hand, when we hear from the right place, Srimad Bhagavatam, this means Srinvatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Shravan Kirtana Hidyantasto Yabadrani Vidunoti Suhit Satam. Just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, glorification of Lord, His dealings with His devotees, such one all unwanted things from the heart, very quickly it gets disappeared. Nashta prayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. And uh, devotional service, the Supreme Lord, Uttama Shloka, who is glorified by the choicest poetry, is firmly established inside the heart just by hearing this. And there are so many examples of this. We hear a classical example of Rukmani Devi. Just from childhood she was hearing about glories of Lord Krishna. So from whoever visited the court of his father, they will talk something about Krishna. Narad Muni will so many times he spoke about Krishna. Just by hearing all this from the great personality, she had such an affection, she developed such an attraction for the Lord that she decided this life is only for Lord Krishna, for no one else. You see that she sent a letter to the Lord also. There she's saying that if you don't come, then I'll give up this life and I'll perform severe austerities in many lives, so that I can get you some. So that I can get you some time. So that kind of determination and that kind of attraction she has developed just by hearing. So hearing Krishna Katha is the most important way to realize Krishna. But this hearing should be done from the proper source. What happens when we're not hearing from the proper source? Uh, People they not have that kind of feelings, loving sentiments for the Lord. So when they speak also, it is like that. Like Prabhupada, before Srila Prabhupada presented message of Bhagavad Gita, there are so many people have already given commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada also says that so many people are already given commentary. There are so many commentaries is available in the West in English. So many commentaries were already available. And people were also, Bhagavad Gita was popular. People were reading Bhagavad Gita. But then either they will not understand anything, and they'll be like completely remain mystery for them, the understanding knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, or otherwise they will understand that everything is God, everything is one. All this dry type of understanding. There is no realization about the personality of Godhead, his rubbing relationship with his devotees. So this all understanding were never coming up. Not, even one devotee were not produced. But what happened when Prabhupada presented commentary of Bhagavad Gita, and then people started reading this, a kind of revolution took place from all sides, from all walks of life, all caste, color, creed, nationality, profession, and people started suddenly coming forward and accepting process of Krishna consciousness. That's how the whole Hare Krishna explosion took place after Prabhupada presented Bhagavad Gita as it is. And still we see till today, people get copies of Bhagavad Gita and they study and they come to temple and they become devotees. Or wherever they are, they start practicing Krishna consciousness. They get convinced. So that transformation it takes place because uh, they're hearing from the pure devotee of the Lord. Just so by hearing, understanding this, they uh, they get purified. Uh, Also, the same message when is spoken to different people, it's not that everybody understands this in the same way. So this both audience and the speaker is important. We can recall the past times when the Lord Krishna, when uh, he was entering into the arena of where Kamsa has organized a wrestling match. All the Brajavasis and the Mathura people and there many people had come to watch that. And Krishna entered into that arena wrestling match, and different people had different kinds of emotions. Kamsa, how he saw Krishna, he saw him as a personified death, and he was become so fearful. So then Chanuna, Musti, Ksala, Kausala, all these things they saw him that forbidden uh, competitor, cannot be overcome, cannot be defeated. And then all young girls of Mathura, they saw Krishna as so nice, attractive personality. And then Gopas from Vrindavana, they saw Krishna as their friend. All elderly gopis, elderly ladies, they saw Krishna as their, so nice, cute child. So all different kinds of people have different emotions. So uh, similarly, according to our, uh, according to the person's mentality, one actually understands these things. Not everyone will be able to understand uh, no, perfectly. So it's mentioned one should recite this Srimad Bhagavatam in front of the favorable audience, and it should not be done for any without professional motive. The recitation should be done for without professional motive. And when such recitations takes place, both reciter and audience become perfect. What is the meaning of becoming perfect? So Prabhupada is telling that if done in the right way, not only does the reciter achieve perfect satisfaction, but the Lord also is very satisfied with reciter and the audience, and thus both are liberated from material bondage simply by process of hearing. Just by simply by hearing, just simply by hearing, one can go back to Godhead. Here we see that Dhruva Maharaja went back to Godhead. But simply hearing faithfully from the right person, we also get the same result. We also become qualified to go back to Godhead. So that is the potency of hearing these pastimes of Lord. There's a small post I received, one person sent about Krishna's Braja pastime. It's a very sweet pastime where little Krishna, he is running away because Mother Yasoda, she is chastising him. He has done some mischievous activity and Mother Yasoda has become very angry and he wants to correct her child, and she is taking the stick and chasing Krishna. And Krishna is running and somehow he comes out of the house and there is a potter who is having some lots of pot and is selling his pot. He just goes and asks, Baba, Mother is behind me, please hide me somewhere. Krishna is very afraid. And that potter is telling, don't worry, you sit down here. Then he sits there and he puts a big pot on top of Krishna. And then Krishna is no more seen. Then Mother Yasoda, she is coming and seeing where Krishna is nowhere. Then he's asking potter, have you seen Krishna? So he doesn't reply anything. Then she understands that he has not seen and Krishna has not come here. And she goes. Then potter, after she is gone also, he remains like that only. Then Krishna is from inside is telling, oh, Mother has gone long back. Now release me. Remove the pot. He is telling, no, I will not remove the pot so easily. Because he understands that Krishna is not a normal personality. He is Bhagavan. He can do anything. So he says, no, I will not relieve you. You have to first relieve me from bondage of birth and death. 84 lakh species. You should relieve me. First promise me that you will relieve me. Then only I will relieve you. Business. Then Krishna is saying, okay. First get me out of this place. I release you from the 84 lakh species. Then he is thinking, no, how can I only be relieved? What about my kutumbam? All my family members? What will happen to them? So he's telling, no, wait. You should also relieve all my family members. Then Krishna is telling, he also wants to come out. He's telling, okay, I will leave all your family members also. Now release me. Then he's thinking, no, I should not be so selfish. What only my family members and myself? What about all others? He's thinking in his mind. What will happen to them? He's a devotee of the Lord, so he's naturally feeling for everybody. So as Krishna is telling, Krishna only this last wish. See, my family members will be relieved. Myself also will be relieved. What about others? So you should promise me that whoever hears our conversation, you should relieve them also. Then Krishna is saying, okay. Remove your part. I will relieve all those people who are hearing these pastimes. Then he is telling, no. That is also not enough. Because see, you were saved by hiding inside this pot. And this pot, the clay for this pot was brought from these two bulls. So what about them? We will all go back to Godhead and they should remain here? It's not fair. So he's feeling also for his bulls. So he's telling, no, this lastly you should relieve these bulls also. Krishna says, okay. And this way, Krishna comes out of this pot. So the moral is just by hearing these pastimes of Dhruva Maharaja, one can go back to Godhead. So what is mentioned, the reciter and audience becomes perfect. Just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, actually we become free from bondage of birth and death, cycle of birth and death. That's the potency of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We may be looking for some temporary benefits, ahar, nidra. So this all will keep coming and going. The main thing is we are all suffering because we are here in this material world. So when we develop love for Krishna, we go back to Godhead. Actually, all suffering comes to an end. It's permanent solution to all our problems. So that's what we'll receive by hearing this discourse of Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing Dhruva Maharaja's pastimes. We see that when we hear Bhagavatam's Dhruva Maharaja's story, then immediately we develop faith that yes, we can also go back to Godhead. We understand that we can also go back to Godhead. It is not just an imagination. How Dhruva Maharaja has gone, if we follow the same process, what happened to Dhruva Maharaja will also repeat, will happen to us. So we get a, you know, uh, we get a concrete path. See that Dhruva Maharaja is just a small child, 5 years old. When he can get this result, we can also get. Why can't we get that result? We see that how Prabhupada, when he went to West and he performed the Harinam Sankirtan, people when joined in Prabhupada's activities, Prabhupada's movement, all the hippies they were purified. They were gone down to so much extent that that like we can see completely spoiled. But those people also can be transformed to greatest Vaishnavas. Then why can't we? So we get that confidence, we get that hope. So by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, especially Dhruva Maharaja's pastimes, we all get that assurance. So this is the potency of hearing the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaja. Maitreya Muni is describing this to Vidura Maharaj, that whoever hears this will become perfect. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, पतित पांच प्रभुपाद की जय.